Food for the Hungry is important for our community because there are real people with real needs. And the fact that we have a group of organizations, individuals, companies that have the means to help and do shows that we believe in the work of the Salvation Army and of Interchurch.
We need to learn how to support one another, to care for one another, because these are difficult times. And only together can we solve the problems that are before us.
I help out with Food for the Hungry because I can, and I want to help people who are in need, and it's just as basic as that.
Everybody can bring a different set of talents to the table, and when we all work together, that's how we meet the need.
When communities come together to address that need, they're stronger communities.
31 years ago, Charlie Kilkenny, a late great friend of mine, had a vision. He saw a need in Knox County. People were losing their jobs at factories and plants in town, and he and his wife Carol decided to do something, and it's evolved from that to where we are today. And I think it's great that that legacy of Charlie has continued.
All of the money stays in Knox County. It's going to our citizens, and you never know when it's going to be your neighbor, somebody at the post office, somebody at the grocery store that's just struggling to get by, whether it's temporary or long-term. And it's so important because we never know when it could be us in that position.
Because I've been in need before, and I've had to use food pantries, and being able to give back and actually be a part of something and be a part of something great and a huge community effort it gives me goosebumps. It makes me feel proud.
Volunteering is what makes a difference in a town like Mount Vernon. If you want something to happen, if you want to see people benefit from your effort, you have to get out and do it.
Every day in the work that I do, I see people who don't know where their next meal's coming from or how they're going to keep that heat on through the winter months. And it's just unbelievable to me, the number of people in our community. You don't see it on the streets, but come to my office and spend an afternoon with us and you will see the need in our community.
I know an individual that actually benefited from Food for the Hungry, and in later years is a driver for Food for the Hungry and delivers food and gathers food from other areas and brings to the central location. And it's really made a difference in his life.
It's important to volunteer. I get back to engagement. You find out things about your neighbors or strangers. You communicate with people that you normally might not cross paths, and you create friendships and bonds and businesses and who knows what.
It's such an easy way to support the community. I think Food for the Hungry makes it easy for those people that don't necessarily have time to volunteer. For those people that just want to make a donation, they can simply write a check.
You may not know that somebody needs help who's living right next door to you. You may not know that there are people who are living out of their cars and just need a little bit of an extra help to get them through the next week or the next month.
I know what it is to grow up on welfare in the system. I understand, but I also understand in the midst of that, you still have to make choices. And I've been in a position where I made some good choices.
Many people, a surprising number of people right here in Knox County, have hard choices to make every day.
Some must choose between food and medicine, or food and paying rent or a utility bill.
Or food and adequate clothing for their kids.
The good news is that we have a choice too. We can make it a little easier for them.
And that's what Knox County's Food for the Hungry drive is all about. Working together to care for our neighbors.
This is enough food to feed a family of 4 for 3 days. Our challenge for this community is not to feed one family, but thousands.
We are asking you to serve our neighbors by filling at least 50 trucks with food and raising at least $160,000.
The food in those 50 trucks will feed thousands of families, but Food for the Hungry is more than food.
The money we raise will support Interchurch and the Salvation Army in providing aid to people who are struggling to feed their children.
To your neighbor who wonders how to pay for medication now that he has lost his job.
To senior citizens who have worked all their lives and suddenly find themselves struggling to pay their utility bills.
To young families who live paycheck to paycheck and the family budget has taken a strain due to an illness.
Or to a family provider who has a full-time job decreased to a part-time job. They're trying to stretch the dollars to pay the bills, but the savings account is depleted.
Our support will reach out to our neighbors who have to make these tough decisions every day.
If everyone in Knox County gives just $3 and 2 cans of food, we will fill those trucks and meet the goal of $160,000.
For a top 10 list of the items needed in our local food pantries and the locations where you can drop off your donations, click on foodforthehungrycares.org.
Remember, 50 trucks and $160,000. Now is the time to help our neighbors.
Support Food for the Hungry. You make a difference. Food for the Hungry, working together to care for our neighbors.